Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me properly? Are you good? How are you doing? आज के लेक्चर में we don't have questions because we need to complete the topic before we start doing the questions. So maybe as we discussed on the Telegram group that we need to split the topic because it's a very lengthy topic. So even if there is some amount of practical bent portion, I can't skip it like that only. We need to discuss थोड़ा थोड़ा करके. Good evening, Chandan. Good evening, everybody. Hi, Prashant. Where were you in the last lecture? Where were you? Good evening. Okay, so should we start, guys? So gradually what is happening, the students are all trying to attend in the recorded part only. So what I can do, okay, take care. So what we can do, the moment the lecture is over, we will hide the lecture. We will make it unlisted, so all the people who have attended, they will get it, and the people who have not attended will miss it out. That's what we'll have to do, because you were supposed to attend live with me, no? So all of you, why are you watching recorded? So you were supposed to attend live, all of you, right? I told you that you are supposed, because if I am coming live, you are supposed to attend, because I could have given recorded also, no? I can record in my own free time and give it to you. But the main idea is that you need to finish with me, because this is something, if you leave it, it will be like चला ही जाएगा, तुम्हारे से होगा नहीं, समय नहीं है तुम्हारे पास इतना ज़्यादा. Okay, so let's start. Let's quickly start. And the best part is that this is one of my most favorite topics. Okay, I think I know a lot about this topic. Okay, so guys, we are going to start. This topic is going to be very, very interesting for you, because I feel that over a period of years, I have done a lot of work in portfolio management, both teaching and in practical life also, for building a portfolio, analyzing a portfolio, the risk part, the return part, and even today I'm doing that. A lot of work I'm doing on that part, and I am able to generate some good returns, maybe like 30%, 35% on an average year-on-year basis for myself. Of course, I do not do this for. I'm not a registered, say I need to be SEBI registered in order to do for other people. So I don't do for other people, because my main job is to teach. I like teaching actually. So I'm not doing for somebody else, but yeah, for myself, I am doing a lot of work in the investment part, long-term, short-term, options, a lot of options actually. My options are crying blood as of today. Okay. Good evening. आज तो आए लग रहे बच्चे, right? Chalo, start. Let's start. Okay. So relax now. So how it has to go, the page, number of pages, let's not waste time. We will try to let's not block on the time part today. Okay, we'll rather block on the portion that we have to cover today. Okay, so all in all 62 pages are there. Okay, so we are not doing questions today. Okay, we are not doing questions today as of, because we need to finish the topic for that matter. एंड आप सुनो ध्यान से. ओके, ध्यान देना. ये टॉपिक मैं तुमको सच्ची बता रही हूँ. अगर तुमने आज मेरा लेक्चर, अगर तुमने कहीं से भी पढ़ा होगा, मुझसे नहीं भी पढ़ा होगा, कहीं और से भी पढ़ा होगा ना, तो अगर तुम मुझे सुनोगे शांति से, तो मैं तुमको बता रही हूँ प्रैक्टिकल वाले पार्ट पे भी बहुत ज़्यादा तुमको कंट्रोल आ जाएगा, बिकॉज यू वुड नॉट हैव हर्ड बिफोर व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू टुडे in portfolio management. But yeah, all the students who have done whether in my live batch or my recorded batch or somewhere on the some fast track batch on the YouTube, they would have definitely heard what I'm going to tell today. But I'm telling this to all the students who have not done AFM from me at all. I mean, either on the YouTube or in the live batch or on the recorded batch, which is completely fine. Okay, if you're sitting here and listening to me, you are a student for me. Okay, now come on. So again I in order to make you like comfortable, I am going to stick to the language of the module, because ultimately This is something you are supposed to write. We do not need to go out of the module too much, but yeah, in terms of understanding, I can speak a bit extra to make you understand the technical part of the subject. But as far as theory is concerned, I feel that we should stick to the language of the module as much possible. It is not possible for me or you to remember or mug up the whole of the topic for that matter. But yeah, broad also, if I am able to help you out on the language, I think our purpose would be solved. So let's not waste our time. Let's start the lecture now. Now, the first paragraph, it will be easy for you though, I tell you. It is lengthy, but it is going to be very easy for you because all the students would have done portfolio management in terms of the practical. So it is not going to be tough for you to understand. But yeah, from the theory perspective, you need to listen to me a lot. So basically, how do they start? They say that there are a lot of investable opportunities, like you have bonds, you have equity. Listen to me carefully. खाली सुनो शांति से. आज का लेक्चर में और लैंग्वेज भी इतनी ना हाई फाई नहीं आने वाली है, बहुत शांति से सिंपल लैंग्वेज आने वाली है जो कि तुम आराम से एब्जॉर्ब कर लोगे. अगर मैं तुमको ना कराऊं तो शायद तुम मॉड्यूल खोल के देखोगे नहीं, और वो हमारे लिए नुकसान है बहुत बड़ा. तुमको मॉड्यूल इस बार करना ही पड़ेगा, तुम्हारे पास चॉइस है ही नहीं एक्चुअली, और मेरे पास भी नहीं है. इसलिए सुनो और आराम से एंजॉय करो अपने लेक्चर को. वो जो मेहनत करनी थी वो मैंने करी है, तो तुम अब उस चीज़ का तुम एंजॉय कर सकते हो. ओके, एंड इफ यू हैव डाउट्स यू कैन डेफिनेटली आस्क मी. Okay, now they say that there are a lot of kind of investable opportunities, like you have bonds, you have equity, and many more securities for that matter, and it is exciting also to invest in all these securities. Okay, but it is full of risk, or it consists a lot of risk. In order to build a portfolio or in order to invest in these securities, it will consist some amount of risk, and in order to build a portfolio which is optimal in terms of risk and return, optimized in terms of risk and return, it will need some amount of analytical and technical skills. Okay, that's what they have taught here. Okay, now any investor, the most important thing, first repeat kar rahi hu. Okay, so they are saying that there are a lot of securities which are very exciting to invest, but they are full of risk. Okay, the main agenda of the investor to have a well diversified, optimized portfolio in terms of risk and return. Okay, in order to build this kind of portfolios or do some kind of investment, you need analytical. In order to manage that risk or generate returns for yourself, you would need some level of analytical and technical skills. They say that there is no investor who will put all their eggs into one basket. They will definitely try to diversify the portfolio. That is what they have written. And in order to develop this expertise, we need to go through this topic. That is what they are trying to say in the first paragraph. Then they say that what do you understand by risk? This I have been saying since I have started teaching without going through this module. Okay, and I have been telling you that basically risk is the fear of not getting what we expected. Always remember, risk is not getting. Okay, fear of not getting. Not getting means nahi mila to baat hi khatam ho gayi. Fear of not getting what you expected, that is risk. For example, I'll give you an example. Suppose you are wanting to buy a stock on January 1. The price of that stock is rupees 100 today. Okay, and the company is going to put up a project during the year, and you feel that if the project gets completed, the company will be able to increase the revenues multifold, and the price of the stock should become 120 or 150, whatever you want to say, at the end of the year. Okay, now it all depends whether the company is able to complete the project and start selling the product in the market. So if the company is not able to complete the project, okay, then definitely the price will not increase. So that fear that the company will not be able to complete the project will affect your returns for that matter. That is risk. And what is the probability of company completing the project? What is the probability of company starting the project but not able to complete? And what is the probability that the company will not be able to start the project only? If you're exactly understanding. Okay, so suppose if the company is able to complete the project, the price will become 150. If the project is halfway, possibly the price will be 120. And if the company is not able to complete the project at all, start the project at all, maybe the price remains at 100 only. So it depends on future. Everything depends on future, and you are trying to control the future. So risk is basically fear of not realizing what you are expecting. That is what they have said. Okay. Oh. Give me a second. Okay, I think we are sorted here now. Okay, so relax now. So I'll go through this. Investment. गाइस थोड़ा ना मुझे पढ़ने दिया करो, क्योंकि पढ़ूंगी ना तभी तुम कंट्रोल कर पाओगे. अगर मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगी ना तो तुमको कंट्रोल नहीं आएगा टॉपिक का बिल्कुल भी. ओके, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज सी आई स्पोक समथिंग, you heard what I said, but in order to settle down that part it has to be repeated. If I keep repeating like this you will get bored. So once, two times I speak, I repeat, okay, then the third time you can read from the book, so your knowledge gets settled down completely. तुमको याद हो जाएगा basically. I hope you are not minding that part. थोड़ा टाइम लगने दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, 2 दिन दे रहे हैं हम लोग पोर्टफोलियो को वैसे भी. Investment in securities such as bonds and debentures, lucrative as well as exciting for the investors. Okay, so it is fraught with risk. Therefore, investment in these securities required a good amount of scientific and analytical skills. As per the famous principle, not putting eggs in the same basket. So you can write all these things. Then they are saying every investment is characterized by return and risk. Okay, basically in the first paragraph they are trying to say that investments are exciting but it is full of risk. In order to analyze that you need required amount of analytical and technical skills. In order to build a diversified portfolio we need those kind of skills. So basically why that intro? Because they want to tell you that if you are wanting to build a portfolio then you need to know all those technical and analytical skills to build that diversified portfolio wherein you can optimize your risk and return. Optimizing means maximization of return and minimizing of risk. In the second part they have said, in the second paragraph they are saying that risk is nothing but, okay, not fear of not getting what you thought. So quickly let's move on. Now these are the topics on which you can definitely going to get theory questions, guys. Okay, so I'll speak for you. Activities in the portfolio management. Listen to me first, then we'll read that. What are the activities in the portfolio management? Speak with me. Selection, don't look at the language. Selection of the securities. Okay, once you select, try to visualize a picture in your head. So first, what are the activities in the portfolio management? You will select the securities. Which securities do you want to invest in order to build your portfolio? Number 2. So suppose you want, I mean, I don't know how many people know this or not. If I ask you, don't people जिसको पता है वो reply मत करना. If I have 2 securities, how many portfolios can you build? If I have 2 securities, how many? Because if I ask this question now, and if you are able to understand this whole chapter will go like plain and simple. This is a very, very important question what I am asking to you. If you have studied from me, definitely you know the answer. If you have 2 stocks, then how many portfolios can you build? Answer please. Yes. Other people need to answer. Please like the video, subscribe to the video and put a positive comment. Okay, please like the video, subscribe the video and put a constructive and positive comment. If you want to give me some feedback, please give me in a constructive manner. अच्छा था ना? Infinite. Okay, so first you select the securities, selection of the securities, then you make multiple portfolios. That means if I have Reliance and SBI, okay, so maybe what I can do, I can create infinite portfolios. How? By changing the weights, 70-30, 30-70, 50-50, 20-80, 80-20 and so on. So all these combinations will give you different level of returns and risk combinations. The stocks are not changing. The returns of the stocks are not changing. The risk of the stocks are not changing. What is changing? Only the weights. Okay. So first, selection of the securities like Reliance and SBI. Second, building feasible portfolios, okay, which will have different returns and risk. And third, I mean, answer please one question to me. If you have built infinite portfolios with the help of Reliance and SBI only, are you going to buy all of them or you want to buy only one? Are you going to invest in all of them or you want to invest in only one? Please answer. Correct, Rakesh Patel. So I'm asking to all of you, if you have built a portfolio, okay, multiple portfolios with the same 2 stocks, okay, so which you will take only one portfolio or you will take all of them? Please answer that question because that's the most important question at this point of time. Only one. So first you will select the portfolio, first you will select the securities, then you will create multiple combinations with the help of same two stocks by changing the weights. And the third one is choosing the best portfolio which suits your needs. Okay, maybe like if I choose two stocks, one is Reliance, one is SBI, the return is 20% and the return is 10%. So if you put them into different weights, and if the return is high, the risk of Reliance is suppose 15% and the risk of this one is 7%. So basically if you increase, try to understand, if you increase the weight of Reliance in your portfolio, the risk of the portfolio will also increase. And if you increase the risk, if you increase the weight of SBI, then the returns will also decrease and the risk will also decrease. So it all depends on the people's preference, that what kind of portfolio do they want. They want a risky portfolio or they want a less risky portfolio. That will depend on the risk aversion level of the investor. So again, what are the activities in the portfolio management? The first activity is selection of the securities. You're going to speak with me. Number two, then developing feasible combinations or multiple combinations by changing the weight. They are called feasible combinations. Okay. And the third one is choosing the optimal portfolio which suits the investor's needs. Come on, quickly. Selection of the securities, construction of the feasible portfolios. तुम ना चिंता मत करो, मैं आगे जा करके आज ही एक ऐसा डायग्रामेटिक प्रेजेंटेशन तुमको दिखाऊंगी, तुम आधे से ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन उस डायग्राम की मदद से आंसर कर दोगे। लेकिन अभी शुरुआत में नहीं कर सकती, जब तक मार्कोविट्स बंदा नहीं आता है तब तक वो बात नहीं कर सकती मैं। तो अभी तो मैं इंस्टीट्यूट के मॉड्यूल के हिसाब से चल रही हूँ बेसिकली, बाद में मैं आऊँगी अपने तरीके से। अभी मैं डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाहती, बिकॉज अप टू द 9th पेज, अप टू द 10th पेज और 9th पेज वी विल हैव टू गो एज पर द मॉड्यूल। ओके, 9th पेज के बाद तुम हमारा गेम चालू होएगा, द वे आई अंडरस्टैंड and the way I will make you understand. Till 9th page I can't do that, because I'll have to stick to the language of the module, because it is pure theory, guys. Okay, correct. Then construction of the feasible portfolios, then deciding the weights in the proportion of the different constituent securities in the portfolio so that optimal portfolio. Look at that. Look at that. I built multiple choices by changing the weight 70, 30, 30, 70, 50, 50, 80, 20, 20, 80. And each one of them is giving me different return in terms of portfolio return and different risk, obviously. Okay. So if you increase the weight of Reliance, it will have higher return but increased risk also. If you increase the weight of SBI, the returns will go down, the risk will also go down. So it depends. There are people of different varieties who have different risk aversion level. I don't want too much of risk, so he will take a portfolio where SBI is dominating. I want a lot of risk, I want to increase my return, then I will choose a portfolio where Reliance is dominating in the portfolio. I hope, guys, you are good. Okay, the next one, objectives. These are all very important from the theory perspective actually. The third one is objectives of portfolio management. Be careful, guys. What are the objectives of portfolio management? Before I look on the module, please listen to me very, very carefully. दिमाग में सोचो, ये बात को सोचो, एकदम ब्लैंक मान लो एग्जाम में हो गया, भगवान ना करे, लेकिन देखो, always remember, you should not be afraid of a worst case scenario. Your win is about managing that worst case scenario. तुम्हारी जीत उसमें है जब तुम खराब सिचुएशन में भी जीत करके आओगे। तो हम ये क्यों सोचे कि हमेशा अच्छी सिचुएशन जिंदगी में आएगी? नहीं आएगी ना। तुम्हारी ताकत, तुम्हारी सक्सेस और तुम्हारा इवोल्यूशन इस बात पर डिपेंड करता है कि उस खराब सिचुएशन में जब सबने हार मान ली, तब तुमने हार नहीं मानी, तुम तब भी लड़के आए। Okay, so in a worst case situation, in suppose, okay, objectives of portfolio management. What is the objective? What comes to your mind? The first thing that should come to your mind is capital security. Capital security. Number B is like the number that comes to my mind is diversification of risk. Diversification of risk and tax efficiency. Okay, then whatever I am investing, it should be marketability so that I have the flexibility of selling, changing the securities whenever I want. Then E, liquidity. Also the objective is liquidity, so that if there is a good opportunity, I can invest there. And F, there can be an objective of income or like, kind of capital appreciation and all that. So out of 6 to 8 points if they have given. I can't remember all of them, nor you can remember. But if you are able to quote good 5 points which they have given in their language, you will be able to answer. So don't try to mug up all of them. It doesn't need actually. Correct. Look at this. Security or safety of the principal, stability of income, that I missed out. Okay. So capital growth, then marketability, liquidity, diversification, and favorable tax status. 2 points I missed out is the stability of income and capital growth. Capital growth is basically if you try to invest. Now, the way they have explained, safety of the principal amount. Obviously, when I'm building any portfolio, I want to make my capital safe, not only in terms of the amount. They are saying that the purchasing power of the capital should also remain intact. That means to say, if I have invested 100 rupees today, then and the inflation is increasing by 5% over a period of year, then 100 plus 5%. Okay, till then my purchasing power, I have not been able to increase the value of my portfolio. It is just that my purchasing power is intact. If I am able to earn more than 5%, then there has been some level of capital growth. That's what they are trying to say. But इतना वो इनकी ही लैंग्वेज में वहाँ पे लिखना पॉसिबल नहीं है. पॉइंट्स को याद कर लो. चलो बोलो मेरे साथ में. Security of the principal, number 2 capital growth, number 3 stability of income, diversification, tax efficiency, then marketability and liquidity, and we are done. So point number 1 was activity selection, develop feasible combinations and choose an optimal combination. Then objectives I just quoted to you, and we are done, guys. Let's go ahead now. Phases of, this is going to be very easy for you. Phases of portfolio management. What are the phases? Again, I would want to write that part before I start reading this. The first one is phases. समझते हो क्या होता है? Phases का मतलब होता है कि शुरू से लेके लास्ट तक तुमने पोर्टफोलियो जब बनाओगे तो पहले क्या करोगे? पहले इंग्लिश हिंदी दोनों बोलोगे. पहले तुम सिक्योरिटीज को सिलेक्ट करोगे, है ना? क्या सिक्योरिटी एनालिसिस कैसे सिलेक्ट करोगे? अभी लास्ट चैप्टर जो तुमने पढ़ा था, उस चैप्टर मैंने क्या बोला था? तुम फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस यूज करोगे, तुम टेक्निकल एनालिसिस यूज करोगे. करेक्ट. ओके, सो बेसिकली फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस यूज करोगे, तुम टेक्निकल एनालिसिस पार्ट करोगे, ये सब तुम करके एनालाइज करोगे और अच्छा स्टॉक सिलेक्ट करोगे. पहले तो स्टॉक सिलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. उसके बाद तुम क्या करोगे? तुम पोर्टफोलियो एनालिसिस करोगे. पोर्टफोलियो एनालिसिस का मतलब ये होता है कि तुम इन जो सिक्योरिटीज को तुमने चूज करी है, उन सब सिक्योरिटीज को यूज करके तुम क्या करोगे? तुम फिजिबल कॉम्बिनेशन बनाओगे. 10%, 20%, 30%, व्हाटएवर, यू नो, तुम वो कॉम्बिनेशंस बनाओगे. दैट इज कॉल्ड पोर्टफोलियो एनालिसिस. सेकंड स्टेप. थर्ड वन, okay, third one is portfolio selection. Out of all those feasible combination, you are going to choose that one optimal portfolio which meets your personal requirement. That is the third step, portfolio selection. And उसके बाद क्या करोगे? After that you will डू पोर्टफोलियो रिविजन. दैट मीन्स एक बार बना लिए बैठ गए, ऐसा नहीं है. सोशल, इकोनॉमिक, पॉलिटिकल चेंजेस, डायनेमिक्स चेंज होती रहती है. अकॉर्डिंगली तुम अपने पोर्टफोलियो को चेंज करते रहोगे. दैट इज कॉल्ड पोर्टफोलियो रिविजन. एंड द लास्ट पॉइंट इज पोर्टफोलियो इवैल्यूएशन. दैट मीन्स तुम्हारा जो टारगेट था वो तुमने मीट किया कि नहीं किया. यू विल हैव सम बेंचमार्क. तो उस तरह से चलेगा. तो यहाँ पे ये सारे स्टेप्स मैं लिखने वाली हूँ. और एंड नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू कम बैक इन इंग्लिश. सो गाइज, द फर्स्ट स्टेप, इट इज गुड दैट यू I'm talking in both the languages so that you can something you will be able to hold. Okay, so first step, number 1 is security analysis. The first step, security analysis. What will you do? You will do fundamental analysis and you will do technical analysis. Okay, I'm just trying to summarize, guys. Then the second step is portfolio analysis. So in portfolio analysis, what will you do? You will build. तुमको पता है क्या? 3 वर्ड याद करो. Remember 3 words in portfolio. Your life will be sorted quite a lot. Feasible combinations, efficient combinations, and optimal portfolio. What did I say? Feasible combinations, efficient combinations, and optimal. These 3 words are very, very important, which you will come across every time. What is a feasible combination? When, okay, suppose I selected 4 stocks from the market, that these are good stock. On the basis of my fundamental and technical analysis, I have chosen 4 stocks which I want to use to build my portfolio. Okay, now these four stocks can be combined in any possible combination. You can't change the returns of these stocks. You can't change the risk. मतलब तुम इन चारों का रिटर्न चेंज नहीं कर सकते. तुम कौन होते हो और मैं कौन होती हूँ रिटर्न चेंज करने वाले? वो तो कंपनी के हिसाब से चल रहा है. Risk, that means sigma or the SD of the four stocks, that is we use SD to measure the risk of the stocks actually, okay. And the relationship between the stocks, you can't change that, but I can build infinite, maybe like 10-15 combinations I build. I wouldn't take all of them. I will choose only one. That is feasible. All 10, all 15 combination, whatever you have built is called feasible combination, okay. Then what will you do? You will choose those stocks which are superior in terms of, for example, you tried out 20 combinations. In 20 combinations, you saw that 5 are the best in terms of risk return profile, in comparison to the remaining 15. Though those 5 are called efficient combinations, okay. And out of 5, I will choose one which suits my requirement depending on my risk return profile. The person who wants to have a lot of return, he will choose a portfolio with highest risk, and the person who is ready to compromise on the return but not on the risk part, he will choose a portfolio. Same for stocks, guys, same for stock combination, but these 4 stocks would have different levels of return. Someone is giving 7%, someone is giving like 10%, some stock is giving like 20%, some stock is giving 30%, okay. So depending on, and definitely if markets are efficient, the risk of the stock which is yielding 30% would be the highest naturally, okay. So depending on that, जो भी तुम्हारा स्टॉक डोमिनेंट होगा पोर्टफोलियो में, उसके जिस आदमी को जो चाहिए उस हिसाब से चूज करेगा, वो ऑप्टिमल पोर्टफोलियो होगा. ये 3 तुम अगर याद कर लोगे तुम्हारा काम सॉर्ट हो जाएगा. सो पोर्टफोलियो एनालिसिस, व्हाट विल यू डू हियर? feasible combinations, please write down. Then you have portfolio selection. Correct. I think there is some amount of, okay, chalega. Portfolio selection. So portfolio selection is like optimal portfolio. Okay, you will use this. Then you have the fourth one, that is portfolio revision. What will you write there? What will you write? You will write effect of changes, okay, social, economic, political and financial, okay, changes affect, okay, that way. And the last one is portfolio evaluation, okay. अगर तुमको याद होगा ना तो तुमको पोर्टफोलियो इवैल्यूएशन तुम करते हो ना यूजिंग शार्प रेशियो, ट्रेनर्स रेशियो, जेनसेंस अल्फा एंड Farma's net selectivity theory. Okay, so these are the 5 steps. Now I'll explain each one of them in detail. Okay, so maybe I'll help you guys somewhere like in the paragraphs. Okay, so this paragraph, okay, this one I will take this part as upar mein, theek hai. This paragraph talks about the availability of securities. Means there are so many securities available in the market. There are bonds, debentures, equity, and there are financially engineered securities like flexi bonds, floating rate bonds, GDRs, ADRs, and so on. There are so many. They are talking in this paragraph. They are talking about, these are the 5 points. Do you remember? Do you get that? Security analysis, portfolio analysis, portfolio selection, portfolio revision, and portfolio evaluation. These are the 5 steps of portfolio that you have to remember, guys. Phases of portfolio management. In security analysis, I am talking about fundamental and technical. Look at this. Fundamental and technical. So what are fundamental and technical? So they are saying that there are so many securities available. Then they say that you will do you can use fundamental analysis, with the help of which you can try to identify securities which are underpriced in nature. So you will buy the underpriced securities and sell the overpriced securities. Beyond that, they are saying that we can use the fundamentals of the company like DPS growth, EPS growth, then corporate governance, then good quality management and competition and the industry and all that, to make a fundamental analysis of the security that we are wanting to take in our portfolio. Then you will try to read the pattern of the behavior of the stock in the market, okay, before you select that. So all this guys, मुझे नहीं लगता इतना ज़्यादा तुमको याद रहेगा, तो बेहतर होगा कि तुम ये याद कर लो, ये जो मैंने तुमको लिखाया ये याद कर लो. Security analysis in security, how means you will analyze the securities before you put them into the portfolio, fundamental and technical. Then you will, once you have selected the securities, you will build all the feasible combinations. Then you will choose one optimal portfolio, and then you will keep revising the portfolio because there would be a lot of changes in the social, economic, political environment. And then you will evaluate whether you have been able to meet your targets or not. Okay, can we proceed further, guys? Instead of reading everything, पूरा पढ़ने की बजाय मैं आगे बढ़ जाऊं, तुमको मैं शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स देती चली जाती हूं, बेहतर नहीं होगा? Guys, are you fine? I mean to say, can we move ahead? Because if I discuss too much, I think you will feel very bored. These are the 5 points that you have to remember. We can proceed. Yes. Let's not waste time then. This whole part is done then. Portfolio theories we come. Okay, now what portfolio theories, guys? They are talking about 3 theories here in this topic. They're talking about traditional, why to like invest 2 hours when we can finish in 1 hour actually. Traditional approach, then we have Nishant, I can't tell that actually. I can't tell that. I tell you why. Because you are not going to get theory from only theory chapters. It is not possible. They will ask you from anywhere. So maybe like practical part can be just skipped. I can just give you that part. But I cannot take a guarantee that वो लोग खाली प्रैक्टिकल वाले चैप्टर से नहीं पूछते हैं क्या, ऐसा कोई मैंने इंसिडेंस तो नहीं देखा है. They will ask from anywhere for that matter. For example, security analysis topic. That was, of course, a lot of theory was there, but then they can ask you practical questions also. So what we can do, wherever we get practical, we can quickly just, kind of just move ahead. We can do that. That's possible. Okay, so traditional approach. Then we have Mcq'S model or capital market theory. We have modern portfolio theory. और वो पढ़ाने में ना निशांत मुझे एक फ्लो चाहिए, मैं ऐसे स्किप कर करके नहीं, मतलब ये मैं कर सकती हूँ कि आई विल इन्वेस्ट वेरी लेस अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम ऑन द प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट एंड इन्वेस्ट मोर टाइम ऑन द प्योर थ्योरेटिकल पार्ट. देन वो स्किप कर करके पढ़ाना बहुत दिक्कत है, क्योंकि मेरे को फ्लो चाहिए पढ़ाने का, और कोई भी नहीं पढ़ा सकता उस तरह से. तो एक फ्लो, मुझे मेंटल फ्लो होना चाहिए कि भाई इसके बाद ये, इसके बाद ये, इसका. हाँ, हम ये कर सकते हैं कि वेयर एवर देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट, वी कैन जस्ट स्किप एंड गो हेड. वी कैन डू दैट. मेरे लिए अच्छा है, मेरा टाइम बहुत बच जाएगा उसमें. मॉडर्न पोर्टफोलियो थ्योरी बाय मार्कोविट्स. देन वी हैव कैपिटल मार्केट थ्योरी. कैपिटल मार्केट थ्योरी बाय शार्प. And then you have arbitrage pricing theory. Arbitrage pricing theory. Okay, so these are the 4 theories that we know in portfolio management. One is called traditional theory. Then you have Mcq'S model, that is called modern portfolio theory. And then you have capital market, and each one of them say something different, which is different from each other. Okay, and that is how there is a distinct something which makes them very different, guys, and very unique in terms of understanding. Then capital market theory and arbitrage pricing theory by Stephen Ross. So these are the 4 major theories in portfolio management. Okay, first the traditional approach. They can ask you, they can definitely ask you a theory question on this, and I can frame a case study also on this part, because I told you, I've been telling you in the last lectures also that it is like very comfortable to build up a case study where the options are like ओपन एंडेड नहीं होना चाहिए टॉपिक को. यहाँ पे अगर 4 थियरी तो 4 ही रहेगी, 5वीं में अपने मन से ऐड नहीं कर सकती. आई कांट ऐड अ 5th थियरी. सो इट इज अ क्लोज एंडेड टॉपिक एंड हेंस it is quite probable that you can get a case study from here, because they can tell you that okay, this is a statement, which theory says this statement, okay, that way. So it is important that you have to focus on that part. Now, what is a traditional approach? In traditional approach, only remember what I'm saying, okay? In traditional approach, it talks about investor. It talks about investor. What do they talk about investor? They talk about the investor, that what are the needs of the investor, what is the risk appetite of the investor, then what is the tax thing of the investor, then income, capital appreciation, and all this. So basically need of an investor, what age he is into, what is the kind of health he has got, what are his responsibilities, and so many things. They see it is written here all. Then they talk about portfolio objectives. Portfolio objectives, this is important, you can't help this, but yeah, what you can do, you can just try to remember this part. I'm writing these parts only. और थोड़ा टाइम तुमको देना पड़ेगा पढ़ने के लिए, तुम कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. मतलब अगर मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ तो 15-20 मिनट आधा घंटा दे करके अगर तुम्हारा काम हो जाता है तो तुम गनीमत मानो और मानो कि चलो मेरा काम हो गया, ओके. अदरवाइज ये थ्योरी पढ़ने में वाट लग जाए इंसान की, जितनी थ्योरी है, इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर एनीवन टू गो थ्रू द होल मॉड्यूल एंड एवरीथिंग. सो 15-20 मिनट अगर ज़्यादा जाते हैं ना तो जाने दो, तुम्हारा भला होएगा उसमें. कोई भी चीज़ को कितना शॉर्टकट करने जाओगे ना तो वो चीज़ ख़राब हो जाएगी. फिर मैं खुद ही पैनिक मोड में रहती हूँ कि चलो जल्दी ख़त्म करो. और तुम अगर मेरे को एक्सेलरेट करोगे ना तो क्या है कि तुम्हारा जो हम पर्पस के लिए बैठे हैं ना यहाँ पे, वो पर्पस नहीं सॉल्व होगा, पूरा ख़त्म हो जाएगा, ओके. तो मैं तुम्हारा टाइम बर्बाद नहीं करूँगी, तुम चिंता मत करो उसके लिए, मुझे खुद ही बहुत काम है, ओके. नाउ कम ऑन. So investor, first of all, the traditional approach talks about investor, then it talks about portfolio objectives. What is the portfolio objective? Maximization of wealth with appropriate risk. That is the portfolio objective, definition of this is one point. Then I'll change the color, maybe you'll like that. Then portfolio, this is second one. Then the third one is investment strategy that they talk about. What is investment strategy? So they are saying that in the investment strategy we need to decide whether you want to invest in fixed income securities or in equity. You want to have income or you want to earn a capital gain. You want to pay a income tax or you want to have capital gains. Then you want to kind of so many things of those kinds they are saying, okay. So ये सारी points इन्होंने बोला है, okay. So basically investors study. Then the fourth one, okay, the fourth one says diversification of risk, okay. And the fifth one is saying selection of investment. So these are the, how many points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points you have to remember in the traditional approach. You can speak with me. Number 1, you will talk about the investor. What are the needs of the investor, the risk appetite of the investor, responsibilities of the investor. Okay, what is the duration he wants to invest? What kind of tax is applicable to him? Depending on that, he will try to choose a investment or a portfolio for that matter. So point number 1. Then what is his portfolio objective? So the portfolio objective, they are saying that it is usually maximization of wealth in matching with the risk that the person wants to take. If the person does not want to take too much of risk, then definitely he is not going to earn too much of a return. That is portfolio objective. Then investment strategy. So what kind of strategy do you want to follow? Whether you want to invest in equity versus fixed income, okay, income versus growth, okay, whether you want to have income regularly, okay, or you want your investment to grow over a period of time. So income versus growth, then short term versus long term, and all that. So investment strategy, diversification of risk. Then they are saying that every investor should try to invest in multiple securities or multiple asset class in order to diversify the risk so that the risk can go down and the returns do not necessarily go down. And then last one is selection of investment. So what is selection of investment? They are saying that you should select your investment. How would you do that? ये बहुत अच्छा point है. ये बोलोगे मेरे साथ में? ये समझा तुमको? फिर से बोलो मेरे साथ. क्या क्या बात कर रहा है ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच? नंबर 1 इन्वेस्टर के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. नंबर 2 दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द portfolio objectives, that means maximization of wealth with appropriate amount of risk. कुछ लिख देना उसके अंदर में. And the third one is investment strategy. Okay, the fourth one is diversification, reduction of the risk and increasing the returns by investing into multiple securities. And the last one is selection of investment. How will you do that? They are saying that we can choose investments from where? We can choose investments from, wait a minute, by using, by using undervalued stock, by doing fundamental and technical. Then number 2, so यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, देखो यहाँ पे expert advice, okay. Then inside information, then newspapers and so on. So you will select a particular investment. How? By doing fundamental and technical analysis, of course. Number 2, you will try to have an expert advice. Okay. Number 3, you will try to find out some inside information and segregate between profit making and loss making companies. Then you can try to have some tips from the newspapers. And this is your, ये तुमको एक बात बता दूं मैं, ये पार्ट तो मैंने भी नहीं पढ़ाया अपने प्रैक्टिकल. आई हैव नॉट टॉट दिस पार्ट इन द प्रैक्टिकल. आई हैव नॉट टॉट ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच एट ऑल. नाउ the most important thing that you should know before I move ahead into the Markowitz model is that the traditional approach says that you should invest into multiple securities. Okay, even Harry Markowitz in the modern portfolio theory says that you should invest in multiple securities. Both are saying the same thing. Okay, but traditional approach does not say. What does Harry Markowitz says? Harry Markowitz says that it is not important only to invest in multiple securities, but it is also important to see to the fact that how are these securities related with each other. Okay, that means he's trying to say that you should try to pick and choose very good securities, but you should also focus on the fact that these securities should not be too much related to each other, because if the stocks are too much related to each other, you will not be able to reduce the risk. Are you able to get what I'm trying to say? There's a difference between traditional approach and Harry Markowitz modern portfolio theory. Both are saying that you should invest in multiple securities, build a portfolio and try to get maximum return with minimum risk. Both are saying the same thing. But this one particular thing which Harry Markowitz says and traditional approach does not say. He says that of course you should try to invest in multiple securities, but then the stocks that you choose, they should not only be good ones, but also they should be minimally related to each other. That is the biggest difference between two models actually. ओके, नाउ कम ऑन. सो गाइस, ये जो पार्ट नहीं तो मैंने लाइव बैच, मैंने अपने बैचेस में भी नहीं पढ़ाया, ये थियोरी में ही आया है, कहीं और ज़रूरत नहीं है. सो आई रीड विथ यू क्विकली. सो इन्वेस्टर्स दे आर सेइंग ना, यहाँ पे देखो अंडरलाइन कर लो, अच्छा रहेगा. इन्वेस्टर डेफिनेशन ऑफ पोर्टफोलियो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, investment strategy, diversification and selection of individual investment, and then one by one they have taken investor, age, health, need for income, attitude towards risk and taxation status. Portfolio objectives are defined with reference to maximization of investors' wealth subject to risk. Investment strategy, balancing fixed interest against equity, high dividend payout with earning growth. Okay, then tax payable against capital gains tax, then retaining some liquidity. Guys, it is not possible to remember so many. Even if you are able to remember 2-3, that is okay. Correct. Okay, then diversification and then selection of the stock. So look at this. देखो fundamental लिखा हुआ है, fundamental analysis और okay, or technical analysis, correct? Then expert advice, inside information, newspaper, and we are done. Then coming to this modern approach or Harry Markowitz model. So basically Harry Markowitz model of course says that I'll tell you something. What does Harry Markowitz says? Harry Markowitz says that, listen to me carefully, I've taught this before in my life class, the same language I'm going to use. So Harry Markowitz basically says that every investor should build a portfolio of securities or maybe multiple assets, okay, where and try to maximize the utility. I'll write that. Build a portfolio, then maximize utility. Utility can be measured. Utility can be measured by risk and return, okay, risk and return, and risk and return can be measured by what? SD and mean. Khatam. This is the whole crux of Harry Markowitz theory. He says that you should build a portfolio, you should maximize the utility from the portfolio. Maximizing utility means maximize the return, minimize the risk, okay, and where risk can be measured with the help of SD or variance and return can be measured with the help of mean. Finish. Now, risk analysis. So what are they saying here? So what is risk again? So risk is basically, kind of they are talking about, यहाँ पे देखो बात किया है, रुक जाओ. हाँ, so in this paragraph, they are talking about actual versus expected. Actual versus expected. So basically, risk is, what is risk is? So risk is fear of not getting or not realizing, the expected in actual. Oh my God. ये लिखो फटाफट, ये लिखो जल्दी जल्दी. एक काम करते हैं, आज जल्दी खत्म कर देंगे, टेंशन मत करो, आज जल्दी खत्म कर देते हैं. देखो कितना पेजेस हुए हैं. अभी ये बहुत जल्दी फास्ट भागेगा बिकॉज अभी मार्कोविट्स मॉडल तो फॉर्मूलाज आएंगे, आरपी बार, सिग्मा पी, ये वो सब तुम्हारा करा हुआ है, वो सब तो स्किप कर जाऊंगी. तो वी विल डू अप टू 30, मे बी 35, 30. सो वी विल डू up to 35th page, okay? ये लिखो ना, लैग का बेटा मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता. आई कांट डू मच अबाउट दैट बिकॉज इट इज शोइंग लाइक एक्सीलेंट कनेक्शन टू मी. इफ आई शो इट इज शोइंग एक्सीलेंट कनेक्शन, मतलब मुझे बिल्कुल सही दिखा रहा है, वो पता नहीं क्यों लैग कर रहा है. ये वाला स्क्रीन फ्रीज का कुछ इशू हो सकता है शायद से, तो प्लीज तुम ये कॉपी करो. अभी दिख रहा है तुम सबको? Okay, relax. Let's relax then. Okay. So basically what we have done here is like in the Harry Markowitz, first I'll repeat for you, don't worry. So what he says, build a portfolio. Okay, build a portfolio. Okay. Maximize the utility of the portfolio. How will you maximize the utility? Utility can be measured with the help of risk and return. That means you have to maximize the return and minimize the risk. Okay. Then how do you measure risk and return? So risk and return can be measured with the help of SD and mean. And we are done with this. What does he say? Right now, in this whole paragraph, again coming to this whole paragraph, this I'm talking about. Okay. In this paragraph, they are talking about actual versus expected. I'll speak that, don't worry. Actual versus expected. That means they are saying what is risk. Risk is basically not, I've written here, risk is the fear. Look at this. Risk is the fear of not realizing the expected in actual. ये जो पूरा पैराग्राफ है ना, उसके बारे में बात कर रहा है कि एक्चुअल वर्सेस एक्सपेक्टेड की बात कर रहे हैं लोग. तो व्हाट इज रिस्क? Risk is the fear of not realizing the expected in actual. That is what they are talking here. Okay, I hope you all are fine there. Okay, now going further, they are saying types of risk. Okay, आगे बढ़ूं अभी? अब आगे बढ़ रही हूँ. Types of risk they are saying. So guys, these are the types of risk. I'm not going to write anything, but these are the types of risk. Systematic and unsystematic risk. So first of all, listen to me. खत्म हो जाएगा. Systematic में they have given interest rate risk, in market risk and inflation risk basically. And in unsystematic risk they have given business risk and financial risk. Okay. Now, so just listen and let's move ahead because all of you know this. It is just that it has come on the way and I can't skip like that. Okay. So now you understand what is risk. Risk is basically the fear of not realizing the expected. Okay. In reality or in actual. Okay, na? Now, there are two varieties of risk, systematic and unsystematic. What is the systematic risk? Systematic risk is because of all your microeconomic environment like inflation rate, interest rate, GDP growth rate, fiscal deficit, monetary deficit, government stability, balance of payment, international scenario, and so many things for that matter. Can you control that risk? You cannot. What is unsystematic risk? Best example is Satyam. Okay, so unsystematic risk is risk because of risk coming to an investor because of the company itself. Like तुम्हारा जो CEO है वो रिलायबल नहीं है, तुम्हारी मैनेजमेंट चोर है, तुम्हारी ऑडिटिंग सिस्टम अच्छे नहीं है, then your many things like HR is always in a problem, like they are always like on a strike or something. So these are unsystematic risk. Okay, William Sharp says that you can always remove the unsystematic risk. How? Don't buy such a stock. Don't buy. If you don't buy such a stock, there is no unsystematic risk in your portfolio. And if you have bought by mistake, then what will happen? It will so happen that वो risk तो आ गया. Suppose I bought Satyam. It is creating some amount of problem in my portfolio because there is a lot of unsystematic risk because the management was not trustworthy. Buy Infosys, buy TCS, buy SCL Technologies. That will kill that unsystematic risk. Okay, this is the broad definition. Again, systematic risk is related to microeconomic, social, political environment which you cannot change, which you cannot minimize. Unsystematic because of the company itself. Now, systematic risk has been divided into three parts: interest rate risk, market risk, and third one, inflation risk, right? Why interest rate risk? मैंने अभी तुमको example दिया that suppose I am a company, you are the investor, you bought the stock of my company, as the price of the stock today on Jan 1 is ₹100 possibly, okay, and you think ma'am is going to put up a project and this project will make my investment increase from 100 to 150 because the projects will start generating a lot of revenues, right? Now, the interest rates increased suddenly, okay, in the market, and the cost of funds for me increased a lot, because of which I postponed the project from this year to the next year. Can you control that part? You cannot. That is systematic risk. Then what happened? The inflation increased a lot. Correct. So inflation increased a lot, okay? And because of the increase in the inflation, but I could not increase the prices of the products that I sell. I could not, okay? Because of the competition and so. But in matching with the inflation, मेरा प्राइस तो बढ़ना चाहिए था, लेकिन मैं नहीं बढ़ा पाई. तो अगर मैं नहीं बढ़ा पाई तो इसका मतलब ये है कि जो मेरे को रेवेन्यू मिला इन्फ्लेशन एडजस्टेड वो पहले के मुकाबले कम हो गया. अगर पिछले साल भी मैं कोई चीज़ 50 रुपये पर केजी में बेच रही थी और इस साल भी मैं 50 रुपये पर केजी पे बेच रही हूँ, जबकि मार्केट में इन्फ्लेशन 10% बढ़ चुका है, तो मेरे को 55 पे बेचना चाहिए था. ओके, तो इसका मतलब ये हो गया कि तुम्हारे जो एक्चुअल तुम्हारे जो रेवेन्यूज हैं वो अफेक्ट हो जाएंगे इन्फ्लेशन एडजस्टेड, बिकॉज तुम नहीं एडजस्ट कर पाए इन्फ्लेशन. करेक्ट. तो अगर तुम्हारे रेवेन्यूज अफेक्ट होंगे, तुम्हारे कैश फ्लोस अफेक्ट होंगे, तुम्हारी प्राइस अफेक्ट होगी. कैन यू कंट्रोल दैट पार्ट? यू कैन नॉट. ओके, थर्ड पार्ट. As of today, if you see, the market is down by 750 points. The Sensex is down by 750 points. All my stocks are bleeding. My options are negative. Can I control that part? No, I cannot control that part. I will have to face this risk. That is systematic risk. Inflation, interest rate risk, and market risk. Then the two types of risk: business risk and financial risk. What is business risk? Business risk is a risk faced by all the participants in a particular industry. For example, if I am in the coaching industry, I'll give my example only, why to quote other people. If I am there in the coaching industry and suddenly post-COVID, whole of this business of coaching, okay, has shifted from face-to-face to online, especially in CA final and like senior, all the superior courses for that matter. So, this is the risk that there are many players in the market who are very, very good teachers, but they used to be like dominant players in the face-to-face market, but they couldn't compete with the YouTubers or the people who are operating online. Okay, so that is the business risk. Every company, every participant in that industry. तो तुम ऐसी कंपनी को क्यों खरीदोगे जो कॉम्पीट नहीं कर पा रही? तुम ऐसी कंपनी को खरीदोगे ना जो कॉम्पीट कर पा रही है. तो तुम्हारे पास तो चॉइस है ना कि तुम इसको खरीदो कि तुम उसको खरीदो. दैट इज बिजनेस रिस्क. देन व्हाट इज फाइनेंशियल रिस्क? फाइनेंशियल रिस्क इज कमिंग बिकॉज ऑफ द गेयरिंग रेशियो, डेट इक्विटी रेशियो. इफ यू हैव बोरोड मोर, इफ यू बोरो मोर मनी, योर कंपनी विल स्टार्ट फेसिंग, yes, your company will start facing, the equity shareholders will face a lot of risk because unko lagega, see, if the debt equity level of a company increases, what will happen, you know? The equity shareholders face a lot of insecurity. Why? Because they do not want anything. Okay, they are ready to stay for a longer period of time. But the debt people will say, whether your company performs or not, we are not bothered. You should give me my interest and principal repayment. And if the company is not able to generate those kind of cash flows to pay this, they will take the company into liquidation in a court of law, sell the assets and take their money back. Who is at loss? Equity shareholders are at loss, and that is financial risk. I think I have explained all of them very, very properly. What you are supposed to do is to just, I think तुम खुद से भी लिख लोगे. मुझे नहीं लगता कोई ऐसा बच्चा है. I am not able to identify any student who will not be able to understand this. Diversion of risk. Now, ये guys, this is normal. This is very, very normal. I am not, risk and return क्या होता है ये मैं क्या समझाऊंगी तुमको. Correct. So going ahead now, expected return. Okay. So basically this is also practical based. Let's skip this part. So you can trust me on that part. Whatever I feel is not relevant from the theory perspective, let's not waste time. Like how to calculate the risk, how to calculate the return. Why are we spending time? Because we have done these calculations at length actually. Okay. अब देखो ये नहीं आता तुमको. Standard deviation निकालना आता है ना सबको. सबको आता है. कौन सा ऐसा बच्चा जो पेपर लिखने वाला है और अभी उसको नहीं आता है? Now, this I can definitely, this is again an important topic from the theory perspective. This is again a very important topic, measurement of systematic risk. Okay. So basically, total risk, I can write here, total risk is equal to total risk is systematic risk plus unsystematic risk. Correct? No? So basically, as per William Sharp, you can remove this risk completely. You can remove this risk completely. An investor should get returns only for assuming, only for having systematic risk, because he cannot remove, he cannot reduce that risk. Any investor should not be compensated at all for having unsystematic risk in the portfolio. This is the most important theory of William Sharpe. Now, this topic is important for theory. Measurement of systematic risk. They have given correlation method. Of course, they are talking about beta. इसमें भी ज़्यादा पढ़ाने की कुछ नाम याद कर लो, काम हो जाएगा तुम्हारा. सो सिस्टमैटिक रिस्क, पहले तो तुम क्या करोगे, ये पूरा पैराग्राफ में सिस्टमैटिक रिस्क क्या होता है वो पहले पूरा लेफ्ट राइट सेंटर एक्सप्लेन कर देना, ठीक है. उसके बाद 2 methods of measuring systematic risk, correlation method. So this is a formula that we all know. How did it come? How did it come? Can I show you? Can I show you? So beta is covariance of x and y by variance of market, where x is market and y is security, correct? Now, can I write this one as coefficient of correlation, okay, into sigma x into sigma y divided by sigma x into sigma x? So basically what will happen, मेरे को डर ही लग रहा है अभी कि कहीं चला तो नहीं गया स्क्रीन, okay. And then what we will do, if we cancel this, if you cancel this and this, you are going to get rxy sigma y by sigma x. This is what they are talking. So coefficient of correlation between a stock and market multiplied with the SD of stock divided by SD of market will give you. So there are this topic, measurement of systematic risk. Explain what is systematic risk, okay, inflation, interest rate and market risk. Then there are 2 methods, correlation method and regression method. So this is the formula for the correlation method. In the regression method, you will say that we can build a model, okay, we can build a model y is equal to alpha plus beta x. So basically you are building a regression model, careful, very, very careful, okay. Yes, we have done this, okay. Okay, now, so this is called market model. So सुनना ध्यान से, बहुत अच्छा बताऊंगी तुमको मैं. So what does this model say? This model, okay. So what does this model say? Here Y stands for stock return, okay, and X stands for market return, okay. So what will you do? So basically you have like X market, 10%, 12%, 13% and so on. This is market, okay, and X will be always market, or M can be market, and Y is stock return, okay. So maybe this is 15, then this is like 20, and it's like again maybe like 25 and so on. So basically what will you do? You have market data and you have stock data, returns, okay. You will regress the returns of the stock against market, okay, and you will calculate beta. How do you calculate that? The same formula, covariance of xy divided by variance of x, you will get beta, okay. And then with the help, so here what will you do? So beta will be equal to cov xy divided by variance of x, and alpha will be y bar minus beta x bar, and you get that, okay. So basically what is the assumption in this model? The assumption is that the stock return is dependent on the market movement, keeping all other factors as constant. So basically the most important element is this one in this formula, actually this one, okay, this one. So this is basically the return of the stock because of market. Suppose the beta is 1.15, okay, then you will say that if the market moves by 1%, my stock moves by 1.15%. So if the x turns out to be 10, then this component will be 10 into 1.15. बस जो मना है सो लिख देना, चलेगा, कोई खास बात नहीं है. ऐसी वाली जब थियरी आती है ना, जब ऐसी वाली थियरी आएगी तो क्या करोगे? फॉर्मूला इक्वेशन लिखना और उसको लेफ्ट राइट सेंटर एक्सप्लेन कर देना, एकदम उसको बहुत खुश हो जाएगा तुम्हारा एग्जामिनर के, बाप रे कितना आता है इसको. ओके, आगे बढ़ रही हूँ. सो टू सिस्टमैटिक रिस्क, 2 methods, correlation method and regression method. Please do not forget that. Okay. Then they have written what is positive beta, what is negative beta, and what is zero beta. ध्यान देना. What is positive beta? When you have a positive beta, your stock is moving in the same direction as the market. Okay. If your beta is 1.2 plus 1.2, that means if the market goes up, then your stock will go up by 1.2%. Okay, if the market goes down by 1%, okay, then the stock will also go down. They move in the same direction. That's positive beta. Then what is negative beta? Negative beta means if the negative beta is suppose minus 1.2, that means to say if the market goes up, the stock will go down. Inverse relationship. And what is zero beta? There is no relationship between market and the stock. Okay. Then you what you can say, a stock having a beta of 1 indicates, can I write here? So when you have a beta equal to 1, that means your risk is as good as market. You are same as market. You will generate, or you should generate, the same return as the market is generating. Then you have defensive beta. What is defensive beta? लिख लो, यहाँ लिखा हुआ नहीं है. What is a defensive beta? Defensive beta means having a beta less than 1, because your movements are lesser in comparison to the market. And aggressive beta, more than 1. So aggressive beta, defensive beta, market beta. Okay, these three are the language or the vocabularies that we use here. Then again you have positive beta, negative beta and zero beta. उसका मीनिंग अलग है, लेकिन एग्रेसिव, डिफेंसिव एंड मार्केट बीटा का मीनिंग बिल्कुल अलग है, वो ध्यान रखना तुम भाई. Correct. So be careful, because this is important from the perspective of MCQ. MCQs में they can ask you what is a defensive beta, what is an aggressive beta, and what is a market beta. Market beta equal to 1, aggressive beta more than 1, defensive beta less than 1. Pharma companies have got a defensive beta. FMCG stocks have got an aggressive beta. Or maybe real estate companies have got an aggressive beta, like that. Okay. Then going further, portfolio analysis. This we can skip, guys. Here, what is portfolio return? So RP bar is WA RA bar plus WB RB bar. Okay, dash WN RN bar. Khatam. The return of a portfolio will always be a weighted average. Khatam. What is a portfolio risk? Portfolio risk is dependent on 3 factors. Maybe like you can say like this. Sigma P will be equal to, okay, this will be W square A, sigma square A, W square B, sigma square B, and plus 2 into WA into WB into RAB into sigma A into sigma B. Why have I written this? Because the risk of the portfolio risk is dependent on 3 factors. Weights, okay, ये theory में लिखने के लिए लिख रही हूँ, ऐसा नहीं कि तुमको समझाने के लिए लिख रही हूँ. Weights, individual risk, very good, Rohit, very good. Individual risk and relationship. How do you measure the relationship? RXY or COV XY. Okay, so the return of a portfolio is dependent on 2 factors, weights and returns of the individual securities. मुझे एक बात बताओ, अगर लो रिटर्न के स्टॉक्स चूज करोगे तो पोर्टफोलियो ज़्यादा रिटर्न कहाँ से देगा अल्टीमेटली? ये सीधी सी बात हो गई. बट द रिस्क ऑफ द पोर्टफोलियो इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन 3 फैक्टर्स. द वेट्स, ओके, इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग मोर in a risky security, obviously the portfolio risk will be higher, naturally, common sense, right? Then individual risk, अगर stocks का risk ज़्यादा है तो portfolio का risk भी ज़्यादा ही होगा, कम थोड़ी ना हो जाएगा. And the relationship, lower the relationship between the securities, better it would be from the perspective of the optimization of the risk return of a portfolio. Okay, ये हो गया तुम्हारा. Okay, so ये तुम सीख लिए हो. Now, this is something very important. I don't know, we have done a lot of this thing in our class. So basically, guys, always remember, I mean, you already know this now, that coefficient of correlation is like 0, +1 and -1. Coefficient of correlation, RXY. Okay, basically ऐसे बोल सकती हूँ, relation between 2 stock. Coefficient of correlation. Okay, it will vary between +1 and -1. Best situation is to have this one, absolutely negative relation, perfectly negative relationship between the 2 stocks would be the best choice if you can have, because it is possible to create, सुनना ध्यान से, बहुत important बोल रही हूँ, it is possible to create a portfolio which is giving you a positive return with a 0 risk. If you have 2 stocks with perfectly negative relationship, then you can build a portfolio which gives you return but 0 risk. Okay, इतना अच्छा होता है, बट रियल लाइफ में इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू फाइंड एनी सच कॉम्बिनेशन. करेक्ट करेक्ट. सो बेसिकली यू नो, मैं तुम बोलोगे तो तुम थोड़ा सा मैं समझा देती हूँ इफ यू आर रियली इंटरेस्टेड. सो बेसिकली गाइज, if r equal to +1 between two stocks, okay, so what will happen? Sigma p, okay, w square a sigma square a w square b sigma square b plus 2 into wa wb. तुम वेट कर सकते हो, खत्म ही होने वाला है. सिग्मा ए सिग्मा बी, ठीक है, ये रूट ले लेती हूँ मैं. अब ध्यान दो, ये जो पार्ट है ना, ये वाला पार्ट, इसको मैं कर देती हूँ +1 सिग्मा पी. तो अगर मैं इसको +1 कर दूंगी ना, इफ आई डू दिस एज +1, दिस होल इक्वेशन, विच वन, दिस होल इक्वेशन विल बिकम, ओके, w square a, नो, वेट अ मिनट, सिग्मा a प्लस w b सिग्मा b, a प्लस b का होल स्क्वायर बन जाएगा ये. ओके, एंड सिग्मा p विल बी wa sigma a plus wb sigma b. This is the worst situation you can have. Worst situation. Why? Because if r equal to +1, okay, if r equal to +1, perfectly positive, this is the worst situation. Why? You have not been able to reduce the risk of the. एक बात बताओ, पोर्टफोलियो अगर बना रहे हो, सुनना ध्यान से, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात कर रही हूँ. अगर तुम पोर्टफोलियो बना रहे हो तो तुमको नहीं लगता कि सिनर्जी का बेनिफिट होना चाहिए? दो स्टॉक को तुमने मिलाया, किसी को भी पकड़ के थोड़ी मिला दोगे, तुम नहीं करोगे ना ऐसा. तो बेसिकली अगर इसका रिस्क 2 है और इसका रिस्क 2 है, तो 2 + 2 4 ले लिया तुमने. तो सही है गलत है? गलत है ना. अच्छा तो तब होता कि दोनों को मिला के रिस्क को 3 करते ना तुम, या रिटर्न को ज्यादा करते. तो अगर r इक्वल टू +1 होगा ना, तो रिस्क की रिडक्शन बिल्कुल नहीं होगी, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. तुमको रीजन बताती हूँ. रीजन ये है कि यहाँ पे जो ये पार्ट है तुम्हारा, ये वाला जो पार्ट है, ये अगर +1 को छोड़ करके, करेक्ट, +1 को छोड़ के कुछ भी होगा, तो ये a + b का होल स्क्वायर नहीं बनेगा. इट विल नॉट बिकम a + b होल स्क्वायर, इट विल नॉट. And that is why any relationship between two stock is good but not one. For very very bad situation, okay, very very bad situation. It will be good if RAB is 0, because if RAB is 0, this part will become like, you know, kind of what do you say, this whole part will become 0. Okay, if you are getting exactly मैं क्या कहना चाह रही हूँ. Perfectly negative is very good, but it is not easy to find out. Okay, तो देखो यहाँ पे क्या किया इन्होंने, सब करा, ये सारी बातें बताई, सब प्रैक्टिकल से रिलेटेड बातें हैं सारे. ओके, देन वी हैव, देखो यहाँ लिखा है परफेक्टली पॉजिटिवली कोरिलेटेड. लुक एट दिस, कैन यू सी दिस, you are taking, there is no reduction in risk at all. No, the purpose of building the portfolio itself is not fulfilled. It's not fulfilled. You take any relationship but not +1, because +1 will make it a + b ka whole square, and a + b whole square means return of the portfolio is a + b, it's a weighted average. And if the relationship is +1, what will happen, the risk will also become a weighted average. It should not become weighted average actually, ideally. आई होप गाइस, आर यू गेटिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? समझ आ रहा मैं क्या कह रही हूँ? क्योंकि मैं ये वाले पार्ट पे फोकस नहीं कर पाऊंगी. अगर तुमको, इफ यू वांट टू understand this part of the lecture actually, then you should definitely go to my November 23 lectures of portfolio management and try to see the lectures, because till the time I have data in front of you, the numbers, okay, I will not be able to explain you the way I want to explain, and I would not be justifying your time in terms of explanation. So if you have been able to understand something what I spoke, all the students have done that crash course or studied from me, they understand this part very very properly, because we have done in quite lots of detail in the class, everywhere in the crash course also, which is there on the YouTube. But while teaching theory, it is not possible for me to focus on this part, because it is completely practical oriented stuff. Okay, and you are not to miss out. You can just, like, after this lecture, you can go to the portfolio management and see how I have derived the formula. Okay, let's go ahead then. Guys, we are done then for today, you know, kind of, not much is left. ये ज़्यादा नहीं है कुछ भी, it's like all okay only, nothing much is there. So what we can do, we can just focus on this part, like what is the page number 29. So we can go, you can like पूरा तो नहीं कर पाते आज, पूरा अगर मैं कर भी पाती ना तो तुम होल्ड नहीं कर पाते, because towards the last like from 50 to 60 page it is a huge amount of theory and very good quality theory, which I think if I start teaching today only you'll get exhausted. So कोई जल्दी नहीं, 1.5 घंटा रोज बैठो, खत्म हो जाएगा पोर्शन, है ना. क्विकली, मार्कोविट्स मॉडल ऑफ रिस्क हम तो पढ़ चुके पूरा, वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड मार्कोविट्स मॉडल. What you might get in the exam, okay, what will you write in the Markowitz model? I gave you 4 steps, do you remember? Build a portfolio, okay, build portfolios, choose a portfolio with highest utility, okay. Utility can be measured with the help of risk and return can be measured with the help of SD and mean. You can write down in the intro part, there's no problem at all. In the assumptions of the model, we have to write at least 4 assumptions from this. Number 1, as per Harry Markowitz, the returns are, they have written here, the returns on the investor exactly summarizes the outcome. It is not going to be easy for you to remember all this. It is not. So what I suggest is that you can write down, I give you 4 and just try to remember that. The first you can remember, so returns, outcome, give me a minute, okay. Returns will help you understand the outcome of investment, okay, outcome of investment. Risk as a measure, returns as a measure helps you understand the outcome of the investment. Risk will help you understand volatility, okay. The investors are rational in nature. Rational in nature means, what do you mean by rational in nature? Rational in nature means they would want to have a higher return for the same level of risk and lower risk for the same level of return. I think that you have not been able to understand, but give me 2 minutes after this. I'm going to discuss, I promised in the beginning only, that will help you revise the whole thing of Harry Markowitz model, okay. And the last one is that, okay, that Harry Markowitz talks about mean variance analysis. इससे ज़्यादा लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ये 4 याद कर लो, काम हो जाएगा. First one, returns will help you understand the outcome of the investment. Risk will help you understand the volatility of the returns from the mean. Harry Markowitz uses mean variance analysis. That means he uses mean and variance in order to analyze the securities and the portfolios. And he also says that investors are rational in nature. Being rational in nature means an investor will ask for a higher, suppose if there are two stocks, both are yielding the same returns, but one has got the lower risk. So the investor will choose the stock which has got a lower risk for the same level of return, or he will choose a lower risk for the same level of return. I don't know whether these people understand or not. अब आ जाओ इसके ऊपर में, आज का लेक्चर इसके बाद खत्म हो जाएगा तुम्हारे लिए. अब सुनो ध्यान से, ये पूरा उड़ गया यहाँ पे. अब सुनो ध्यान से, ध्यान देना, ठीक है. Everybody focus please, and then we would be done. So good that we did not take the whole portion. It was any which way is not possible to complete. Now, as I told you, be careful. As I told you that relax, only 5 minutes and then we are sorted. If you have 2 stocks, okay, you can build infinite portfolios. All of us know that, okay. So all these portfolios, all these infinite portfolios will have different risk and return naturally because the weights are changing. So this is sigma p and this is rp bar, okay. Now, so these are the different portfolios. These are the different portfolios. Some portfolios would lie like this here also, here, okay. So what he says is these all are called feasible combinations. That means when you select securities and combine them into different combinations, okay, different combinations in terms of weights, Each combination will give you different RP bar and sigma P. RP bar is return from the portfolio and sigma P. What you do, you take risk on the x-axis and RP bar returns on the y-axis and plot. मतलब तुमने बहुत सारे कॉम्बिनेशंस बनाए और सबका आरपी बार सिग्मा पी निकाला एंड यू प्लॉट ऑल दोस कॉम्बिनेशंस ऑन अ एक्स वाई एक्सिस. ओके, दिस डॉट्स आर the combinations which you have plotted. Okay, he says that these all are feasible combinations. समझ गया? And he also says that all the stocks, all the portfolios which lie on the exterior left are efficient portfolios. When you combine all those portfolios, you get an efficient frontier. Wait a minute. We get an efficient frontier. So this is basically efficient frontier. Okay. So all these pink ones, all these blue ones, pink ones are better. Why? Look at this. Now there is a portfolio here, there is a portfolio here. So dono ka return is same, but the return of the one lying on the efficient frontier is better. So I will choose that. Then look at this. So here guys, if I take like this, then this has got the return and this has got the return. So here also if you see this one is better than this one. Both have got the same risk, but the one lying on the efficient frontier is better. So what did I say? If you have two stocks, if you have securities, you combine them into infinite combinations, compute RP bar and sigma P for all those combinations, and when you plot them on an XY axis, you get feasible combination. मतलब तुम्हारे पास सब कुछ आ गया, यूनिवर्स आ गया. ओके, सारे थोड़ी लोगे. अब उनमें से अच्छे वाले निकालो. अच्छे वाले कौन से हैं? Which lie on the frontier. Why? Because the ones lying on the efficient frontier have got either a higher return for the same level of risk or a lower risk for the same level of return, and that is why they are superior. So all the stocks, all the portfolios lying on the efficient frontier are efficient portfolios. So the ones lying, I'll take a different color. So that means this one and this one are efficient portfolios. Efficient. Okay. Now there is a problem. The problem is that both are made up of the same securities. I can't take both. I want to take one. Which one should I take? The person who is risk averse in nature, who does not want to take much risk. So depending on the risk profile of the person, a person with a lower risk preference will take this portfolio, and the person who wants to take higher amount of risk will take this portfolio. What are these? These lines, these curves are called risk indifference curves. Risk indifference curves. So the point, ruk jao. Okay, the point of intersection, okay, of efficient frontier, efficient curve and risk indifference curve, okay, risk indifference curve is the optimum portfolio or optimal portfolio for that particular investor, not for everybody. Okay, मतलब ये हुआ कि उस efficient frontier पे हजारों लाखों पोर्टफोलियो है, मुझे एक चाहिए. मेरे रिस्क प्रोफाइल को जो सूट करेगा ना, वो वाला मैं ले लूंगी. और पता कैसे चलेगा? तुम्हारा जो रिस्क इंडिफरेंस, तुमने पढ़ा नहीं है यूटिलिटी टॉपिक इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़ा है ना, इंडिफरेंस कर्व्स पढ़े है ना. अ पर्सन इज इंडिफरेंट along the curve. Okay, along the curve वो इंडिफरेंट होता है. तो अगर मेरा प्रोफाइल, अगर मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट, मुझे ज़्यादा रिस्क वाला नहीं चाहिए, तो मेरा जो इंटरसेक्शन होगा, ध्यान दो, मेरा जो इंटरसेक्शन होगा वो लोअर साइड में होगा और किसी का ज़्यादा तो उसका इंटरसेक्शन हायर साइड में होगा. तो इसी तरह से लोग अपने अपने प्रेफरेंस के हिसाब से अपने लिए ऑप्टिमल पोर्टफोलियो चूज कर लेंगे. 3 words: फिजिबल पोर्टफोलियोज, efficient portfolios and optimal portfolio. Are you good guys? Are you good? Was it good? सो आई थिंक एवरीथिंग इज रिटन, इज पूरा हट गया, ये यही सब समझाया इन्होंने, करेक्ट. सो चंदन, could you understand everything? So basically first you will create a universe of feasible combinations, then you will select the efficient combinations, try to connect all the efficient portfolios with a curve. That curve will be called efficient curve, and then the point of intersection of the risk indifference curve of a particular investor will be the optimum portfolio for that particular, यानी कि मेरा और तुम्हारा optimal portfolios are not going to be the same. Okay. Okay, so should we wind up for today? Are you happy? So after this, guys, we are pending with, like, this is done. Capital market theory. Okay, so page number, we start with page number 32 now. So we are exactly halfway. We are exactly half the way of the portion. Okay, and then we have capital market theory, CAPM. So quickly we can finish these topics. Last 10 pages or last 12 to 13 pages are very important from the theory perspective. So like that. Okay. Chalo, thank you so much. Can we wind up for today? You can go, guys, you can go and resume your studies, whatever you're studying. So 1.5 hours already. Hai na? You can go home and you are at home only. You can just try to process this amount of data in your brain. Maybe you can revise the portion for that matter and come back again. So when are we going to have the lecture again? When are we going to have the lecture again? It's okay, Jagriti. It's my job. अब मुझे बताओ लेक्चर कभी रखना है, सीधा सीधा बताओ. या तो अपने जाने दे, ऑल्टरनेट डेज में लेक्चर चल रहा है, ऑल्टरनेट डेज में चलने दें क्या? तो तुम्हारे लिए भी थोड़ा कंफर्ट होता है, तुम आराम से रहते हो, अपनी पढ़ाई करते हो. मैं रोज बुलाने लग जाऊंगी तो तुम्हारा खुद का शेड्यूल डिस्टर्ब होने लग जाएगा. क्या कहते हो? अगर मैं तुमको रोज बुलाने लग जाऊंगी ना, तुम्हारा खुद का शेड्यूल भी डिस्टर्ब हो जाएगा पूरा. तो कुछ बच्चों ने मुझे बोला मैसेज में कि मैम आपका ऑल्टरनेट डेज का शेड्यूल चल रहा ना, वैसे भी हम ऑलरेडी हाफ द वे पहुंचने वाले हैं. वी आर ऑलरेडी हाफ द वे. ऑल्टरनेटिव इज बेटर, बिकॉज अगर मैं रोज बुलाऊंगी ना तो हेडेक हो जाएगा और तुम्हारी खुद की पढ़ाई का शेड्यूल डिस्टर्ब होगा. ऑल्टरनेट डेज में 1.5 आवर यू कैन टेक आउट, दैट्स लाइक वेरी कंफर्टेबल. लेकिन गाइस अगला लेक्चर मिस मत करना. अगला लेक्चर खतरनाक इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि उसमें पोर्शन ऐड हुआ है लास्ट में, और वो पोर्शन एग्जाम में जरूर आएगा, थियरी के अंदर या केस स्टडी के अंदर, वो मेरा श्योर है. ऑल्टरनेट डेज. ओके, सो वी आर मीटिंग ऑन फ्राइडे. We are meeting on Friday, not a problem at all. For the remaining, please do not miss out, and I would love to have you on in the live batch. Please, मैं तुम्हारा टाइम बर्बाद नहीं करती हूँ, आया करो, मुझे अच्छा लगता है. And please like the like the video and subscribe the video. And one more thing we have added, and please put a constructive comment below the lecture. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night. So taking out time 1.5 hours, in 2 days is easy. If I start calling you on a daily basis, you will get disturbed in terms of your own schedule. In the meanwhile, I also focus, I have a lot of work for that matter that I have to complete. It is okay, नितिन, तो कुछ और पढ़ ले, कुछ और पढ़ ले. पढ़ने का कमी नहीं है तेरे पास में, बहुत बहुत सारी पढ़ाई है तेरे पास में, राइट. आराम से पढ़ ले, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, खत्म हो जाएगा. मिड मार्च तक तो एनी विच वेज खत्म हो जाएगा ना. 1-2 दिन आगे जाएगा तो क्या हो जाएगा, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. तेरे को रिविजन मैं तो पढ़ाती चली जाऊंगी. यू हैव टू रिवाइज अ लॉट ऑफ पोर्शन, सो इट इज ओके. बट 3-4 days हियर एंड देयर, हाउ डज इट मैटर अल्टीमेटली, है ना. शेयर द वीडियो, यस प्लीज शेयर द वीडियो विथ ऑल योर फ्रेंड्स. सो इट इज़ ओके. डेट 18 की बोली थी, 20-22 भी चला जाएगा तो क्या हो जाएगा, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. लेकिन ये क्या होता है मैं बताती हूँ, ऑल्टरनेट डेज रहता है ना, तो मेरे लिए भी कंफर्टेबल होता है, मेरे लिए ईजी होता है कि मैं लेक्चर्स ले पाऊँ. ओके, और तुम्हारे लिए भी अटेंड करना भी ईजी होता है. रोज़ बुलाऊंगे तो बच्चे आएंगे ही नहीं. इट इज़ ओके, डजंट मैटर. ऑलरेडी हम 6th चैप्टर में आ चुके हैं, हाफ वे हम आ चुके हैं, पता भी नहीं चला. बाय 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 बाय. फ्राइडे